this. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay.
We might turn some people on. Get that endocrine system turned on.
We're swingers, so
we are swingers. We better watch that. Oh man, I think it goes in a lot of trouble this day.
I'm never ending with the jokes.
I'm sure.
Like, are you a player? No, I'm a swinger.
God, so you're
I'm a hooker too, apparently.
Yeah, you're a hooker. I was cracking up yesterday. When we do wall balls at the gym, all the girls have all these things on the balls, and when that sweaty ball drop on you, I'm just like cracking. Like, come on.
It's hilarious.
You're just trying to work out here, girls, and you're talking about these wall balls.
All right, let's get centered and started. Thank you guys for coming. We're going to keep everything clear. So the water bottle over to the side, just so we flailing limbs. Thank you. We're going to keep this area clear for the video. And then I want everybody to open up their manual and outline to the restorative. So just have your manual there, have a pen. Do you have nothing?
I left it.
It's all right. I was prepared for that. So write on the outline, but not the manual. Okay? I'm going to need the manual back. You already have a manual.
I do.
Yeah.
That's why I forgot it.
I have an old outline. I don't know if it's super.
Well, you're going to have to make this. Did you see the one I sent you an email?
I did. I glanced at it and then.
So I believe we're on page 3.
I'm in LA. You're in LA. Okay.
So we're going to review this based on our workshop yesterday. We're filling out the outline. It should be
But I'm just going to do one of them.
Thank you for reading it. And everybody have a pen if you want to take notes. That would be really great. As you can see yesterday, there was a lot of information, so we don't do a whole lot of sitting and writing. This is like your own work, call it. So this is what we're going to do at home. I'm going to just turn down the heat a little bit. So some of us who are but we do one at 7 here. So I get chilly. Okay, so you notice, let's talk about the workshop yesterday. Let's get into our sumo squat and hang out and have a chat. So we're going to warm up like this. We want to make sure first thing is our mat is in a good position. So our bum is in the center. Our toes are turning out 45 degrees and touching the front of the mat. So we're using the circle to inform the space. A nice way to support the underarms is to come into a forearm press. My hands are right above my head and I'm engaged. Right? So we're lifting the sternum and we're just rocking the pelvis. We're going to hang out here and have a little chat. We make sure the swing is in a good spot. So here's when we get there, your leg loops are going to have to come down one if you didn't bring them down.
It didn't?
Okay. I don't know if you did. I was just saying.
I think I did, but I'll bring down another.
Yeah. Just so we have everything kind of almost ready, right? Just see how they feel. We'll get there. But we just want to be able to eye it up. The way that I eye it up is when the swing is hanging, the leg loops are about 4 to 6 inches below the swing. If they're level with the swing, I can tell you they're going to be too high, right? Because the swing has so much stretch. So that's just a visual. I can just look at it and see, but you can always move them up and down, so no problem. What I wanted to go over yesterday is the experience of having complete newbies, which they were so nervous about it, but for us it was such a benefit, to have people who don't do yoga, who aren't super fit and embodied, and to see that they could still do it, right? So that was fun. Did everybody have fun yesterday?
That's great.
Awesome.
They were amazing. They were wonderful.
They were so great. What good sports, right? And so we want people, especially when they're nervous, to have the maximum amount of fun while challenging themselves and doing something new. And they really did challenge themselves in a good way and did way better than they thought, right? That was the other thing too. Don't give them more than they can handle. And the little flail at the end was a little too much, but we always have to give them something that's challenging too. So just for me, where I take it, I take them to the edge and then I back off a little, so they don't give up. So I just wanted to let you know, with the workshop, I didn't go in order, right? I kind of reversed things, you probably noticed. And then I would do just a little taste. We never even got into forward folds because I wanted to show you guys the standing poses and the grounding poses, right? So we're going to review
yesterday, just briefly.
I'm sorry?
What did y'all do yesterday?
We went over the basic training,
big
one.
Oh.
Yeah, and then in the workshop we did some restorative, which may or may not be in your outline, but I'll share it with you. Okay? So we're going to start our warm-up today. I don't always review, but we are going to warm up today by, everybody can see, right, their outline. You see the restorative says lounge in, chillax in, folded leaf, lunges, hand holds, cocoon, and leg stretches. So we're going to go over that, and then we're going to jump in 5 through 8 because we're going to go right into dynamic strengthening. So if you don't do a warm up, sometimes it can be like a little, woo. Okay, whenever we need a break, we know how to press back, right? Get the swing nice and low. Make sure it's on the lower part of the ribs because gravity will always do a good job and pull it back up. And then we have a little bit of a lock there. Okay? So we can always take a break when we need to. We're going to be very tender and sore in these areas because we're doing 6 hours a day, right? As opposed to somebody just doing an hour and a half. So give yourself a break. It's a lot of hanging by the underarms, so an extra layer, just a little FYI. So I have my jacket on, helps. Okay, just things like that, little tricks. So let's go ahead and start out with lounging pose. So this is the hammock stretch. So we're gonna always hug the swing, right? This is our hook. And then, so I always smile now that I really think of myself as a hooker every time I hook. And then we're gonna get our core activated and get the leg loop on the ankle. Right? Leg loop on the ankle. Good. So we started out doing the one leg stretches with our little choo-choo. Right? A little choo-choo. Let's all left leg first. Did I say that backwards? Left leg first. Thank you. I'll get used to my reversing things. And then what we want to do is cross the ankles for hammock. I'm going to show you a little bit more detail than I did in the workshop. That's why I want to review everything. I like to thread. Do you guys remember the thread? So you bring one, you make an X, bring one side of the leg loop forward and then wrap around. So let's do it together. Pull the leg loop back, the front leg loop, pull it back, your toes, and then kind of wedge in there. Yeah, and then slide in. So then you have a little buffer for your ankle bones, right? So you can always thread. That's what I call it. Perfect.
So
now,
so cool.
so cool. And we're kind of hooked in. So then we use our extra leg loop first behind the neck. We don't stay there. We keep putting the leg loop on like it's a t-shirt. Okay, underneath on the right side. It's a little tricky. Yeah, you gotta get in there. But then we're double supported to allow us to go into a deeper back bend. Now since this is a beginner sequence, this is restorative, then chillaxing arms is a great choice for supporting the neck. Now if anybody is open and more flexy, they can push their hips up and come more into a supported back bend where their arms are open wide. Now it can be a big back bend. I can slide into almost like a ladle. Look at me. Hi. I can come all the way down, just let everything slide down. Push your hips up and slide down. Or I can be pretty mellow about it and keep it bunched up. So I get to really have a little bit more control. And the other thing I was showing with you guys is that you can spread the swing out on this position where it covers more of the torso. For beginners, that would feel a little bit more comfortable. It's actually really nice on the kidneys. Okay. Beautiful, guys. That looks great.
Jen, what's the maximum time you can hang? Let's say you're doing a class in body and you start hanging upside down.
18 hours.
Really?
5 minutes for beginners, 18 hours for me.
Oh.
18, maybe 20.
You never camped out in one of these?
Yeah, I'm like, this is how I sleep. Yeah, it's all depending on the person's level.
Okay.
Mainly because I think the Guinness World Record is like 24 hours straight or something, but that's because I haven't done it yet. Yeah, I mean, it's actually really, really good for you. There's some things with the brain and circulation and stuff that they warn against, but we're not even going to test it out. Usually within 1 to 3 minutes, somebody will come out naturally. Yeah, when somebody begins, 5 minutes would be a long time. Okay, so we can do a little fishtailing from side to side. So we just allow ourselves to kind of twist and bend, and this is really great for the intercostals, the rib cage. And then I was also showing you how it's fun to kind of, oh my God, just bend the knees and play with that one, which is also really fun. And we're just playing. So again, the exploring and experiencing the body in a new way instead of being like, is this right? Am I doing this right? Feeling into it. Yes, it's going to make you swing a little bit higher there. So the top one really stays underneath the armpits to support you. Yeah, there you go. Really nice. So everybody can see okay with this configuration? Make sure you're bringing up. Okay, great. Just let me know if you need anything. So to come around the neck. Now, I like to spread it out, make sure that it's comfortable enough. I always negotiate with my little wing earrings, but just keep them on. So it's like the Aunt Jemima hair experience. So in this position, I like to tuck my chin into my chest. That keeps the cervical spine safe. And then I like to drop my arms if that's comfortable. If that feels like too much, just hold on to the leg loop. You can reach up and hold on to control the weight. Beautiful, guys. And then there's the dropping the hips is one stretch, and then pushing the hips up and kind of pushing the back of the head into the leg loop is a different stretch. Now just find which one feels better for you. It's all just personal preference. Really good. So these restorative poses we hold for longer periods of time and give the person a chance to drop in and find their breath. Really nice. Of course, we're just doing a sample, so we're going to reach up, grab for the leg loop, remove it from the back of the neck, come through the floating Buddhas with the leg loops at the ankles. I'm going to try and repeat the names as much as possible, but it's always good to have the repetition in your own head. Floating Buddha, ankles, right? The knees, it's called chilaxin. At the hip crease, it's called high diver, right? So move closer to the center point of the body and it gets easier. That's straight. Okay, let's go ahead and just do second side a little bit more quickly, see if you can get yourself into it. Let's actually make a variation here. Remember yesterday, one of the variations is the spread out, the leg loop. This makes it easier on people's knees. My knee was just reminding me of this variation, right? So if you have a little owie, you just give it a little extra support. I'm still crossing the ankles. Inside. Yeah. I like to hook the heel, so the leg loop stretches all the way to the arch of the foot. If the heel is hooked, it'll stay on. Okay, see if you can get it behind the neck. And then quickly, both arms through, like you're putting on a t-shirt to get it underneath the arms. There you go. It's a little bit of maneuvering, but it's really worth it. Nice. Nice deep breaths. Chillaxin arms, supported back bend. So just let's consider, this is what we learned in the Eric's program, but let's just consider which parts of the body we're working on here. We're opening up the chest, we're opening up the shoulders, we're opening up the neck, right? And then we're working with the upper thoracic spine. So we're really focusing on those parts of the body. The hips are gently pushing up towards the sky, but it's supposed to be restorative, so we're relaxing into it. And then a bigger back bend can just emerge by letting the arms come open wide and sliding in. Beautiful. That feels good on the body. Still let it be an extension from the heart. If you ever want to come up, you just drop the hips. So you can really start to use the leverage, that pivot point of the body to make the change. Beautiful, Wendy. Nice. So from chillaxin arms, let's all do it from this position. We can bend the knees and start to play with a little twist from side to side. And just notice what this opens up. This opens up more of the hips and the rib cage. Feel free if you notice the sensation anywhere else in the body. This feels really, really good along the iliac crest for me. Every body is different, right? Depending on how far you go. Isn't that fun? A little bit more play. So how can we make it as fun as possible to open the body?
I like the way it rests on the upper chest.
Yeah, nice. Put it under your armpit there.
Lymphatic.
Exactly. Well, we definitely get the lymph. So when we come back through center, we're going to use the leg loop to stretch the back of the neck. So get it out from underneath the arms. They're spring-loaded, so be really careful. And then I like to spread it out. As long as it covers like the full length of the ear and the chin is tucked into the chest, I feel like the neck is in a safe position. Right? Experiment with that. If you feel any discomfort, immediately come out of it. People have very tender necks, a lot of neck injuries. We would